Hi everyone, it's Ryan with SacramentoAppraisalBlog.com, and today I wanted to talk through seasonal trends and how to see the seasonal market, because what ends up happening in say Sacramento County, you can see in light green, here's listings, and as listings begin to increase, sales volume in dark green begins to decline, and the market overall softens. We start to hear language that says the market's beginning to tank, or the bubble has burst, and we're seeing a market that's turning around, and everything's falling apart. And I'm not saying that that's not happening, but I want to give a little bit of perspective historically. And so hang in with me here. We're going to walk through current trends, how to see the seasonal market, and how to tell if a market's slowing down. And then I want to show you some trends in 2005. And I hope this will be very valuable as you interact with clients and just for your personal knowledge. And pitch in your 2 cents, please, in the comments below. So anyway, you can see that listings have been increasing lately. Okay, sales volume has been declining. Here you see pendings in red are increasing. Okay, let's look at the average price per square foot currently. You see a seasonal uptick from January, and then you see values begin to soften. Okay, we see the same thing with average price. Here's the median price. You see a seasonal uptick, and then as soon as values begin to soften, every year we act surprised, like this isn't something that normally happens. Okay, let's look at the average sales price also, because no matter what metric we look at, we can see, oh, okay, prices are softening. Okay, and here's one of the things that we see also is that inventory has increased. Now this looks like a dramatic increase because inventory a few months back was very low, but we've got to think 1.8 months of housing supply. That means that there's less than 2 months worth of houses for sale on the market. That's very, very low when you consider the past few years. Okay, now let me show you then a different way to look at the market, because oftentimes, let's look at the past 3 years of sales. Oftentimes we're so fixated on just this portion and we think listings are going up. What is the market doing? But we can really see if we look back since say July 2013, here we see in the later summer there's more listings. Okay, then inventory kind of declines towards the end of the year. Here's the next year, 2014, we see this increase of inventory. Okay, the market softens with inventory, November, December especially, there's just nothing on the market. People are thinking of turkey and Christmas and the holidays. Okay, and here we see this, same trend, 2015. In 2016, and here we are, we get surprised, and we start to hear the market is tanking. Okay, we heard the same thing here, we heard the same thing here, and the same thing here. Okay, so sometimes I think that what we're doing in real estate is that we're missing the seasonal element, because we're so used to maybe talking about real estate in sort of a Pollyanna sort of paradigm that thinks that values are always going up when there's this real seasonal dynamic. Look at the same thing with the season, where you see sales volume in the later summer begin to slough off, and then you see it pick up in the early spring. Here's the later summer, it sloughs off. It picks up in the spring in 2015, and it sloughs off. Okay, and then it picked up in the spring of 2016, and then we would expect that it would slough off again. Okay, here's average price per square foot. We see a very seasonal element. It's not as defined up and down, but can you see that up and down nature? Okay, and so we can expect that we would probably see a softening this fall if the market behaves in a normal way. Let's look at the average sales price. Do you see that seasonal element? Up in the spring, down in the fall. Up in the spring, cools off in the summer, down in the fall. Okay, here's the median price. The last 3 years. Up and down, up and down, up and down, up. Okay, now overall the trend, we would say, despite the market heating up and cooling, we would say the trend has really been one of increasing values. Okay, overall values this year had sort of a modest uptick, but we would say, yeah, the trend has been one of increasing. Okay, and let's look at inventory. Okay, we see inventory looks like it's all over the place sometimes, but there's still this cycle. But what we've seen, gosh, over the last a couple years, I mean, inventory has just been low. There's a lot of reasons for that. I think maybe we can do another video to talk through that. Okay. But let's remember, here's a seasonal element. Okay, and days on market is a fantastic way to see the season too. Do you see it just starts to take longer to sell as summer fades away? Okay, and then the spring market heats up, takes less time to sell. Okay, and then summer starts to hit right around July. You start to see it in the stats where it just takes longer to sell. Okay, every single year, and then here we are right here. It's just starting to take longer to sell, and then that freak out mode happens where we think, what's the market doing? It's turning. But I think sometimes what we're not doing in real estate is that we're not comparing July 2016 with July 2015 and July 2014. And what we have to ask if we want to see the seasonal market is, how does the market normally behave at this time? Okay, if all we're doing is comparing these consecutive months, then we're thinking it's taking longer to sell, the market is tanking. Okay, same thing with, say, average price per square foot. We can say the market is starting to change. Okay, but what we really have to do is well, the market was changing here too. And look, the market was looks fairly stable there. Okay, and so we have to really compare, what does the market tend to do, okay, in the season. Okay, and when we can grasp that, we can really give our clients some sound advice and say, at this time of the year, here's what tends to happen with days on market, or the sales to list price, or average price per square foot, median price, months of inventory, okay, whatever we're looking at. Okay, now let's start to look at 2005, because a lot of people think, well, the market is really, it's in a state of decline, the bubble has popped, and I'm not going to say that hasn't happened, but I want to give some perspective here, because maybe this will influence the way that you talk about the market. Okay, here's the median price in 2005. All right, and so you can see in Sacramento County it reached 395,000. All right, you begin to see a softening trend. Now, nothing major, it's softening for the fall, and then it looks like the market heated up very slightly, and then really it was a declining trend in 2006, but in 2007 it hit a stride and the market just burst open, massive declines. All right, let's see here. I want to show you average price per square foot. And it almost looks like, say, from when the market really hit its peak here, 253 price per square foot. But then 1 year later, we are at 248 price per square foot for the entire county. And so, or excuse me, 244. And so you see a slight decline, but nothing very significant. And so from a price perspective, we're really not looking at very significant declines. But I want to show you the market, and here's average sales price. The market actually experienced a profound difference. Okay, here is August 2005. In say actually June 2005, inventory was at 1.7 months. And then by the end of the year, inventory was hovering around 5 months. Okay, so basically in a period of about 6 months, housing inventory had more than tripled. Okay, now during this time, we see some very subtle price changes. All right, we're seeing sales, median price, average price per square foot. It looks like a normal fall in that values have softened, but there's some incredible changes here. Inventory tripled. You see an exponential increase of listings. Okay, and yeah, we've seen a normal amount of listings that increase right now in today's 2016 market, but here is an exponential increase over just from June to December. Okay, and you see that it just, as the market was declining in value, you see a huge increase, massive number of listings, but also you see a very significant drop-off of sales volume. Now, it's normal to see a drop-off in volume as the year comes to a close, but what we were seeing here is an exponential drop-off, all right, where properties simply were not selling any longer. Now, it's normal in the fall to see price reductions, and there's less buyers wanting to pick up homes, but here we see something very significant in that, wow, inventory, say for example, in June 2005 we saw about 2,200 sales. But then in June 2006, there were only 1,300. So if we're comparing the same month of the year when the market tends to behave the same way, we see a 40% drop in sales volume. And that is absolutely enormous. And at the same time, we see inventory increase and almost quadruple. Okay, and so when we think about the market really beginning to shift, we need to look for something a little bit more significant beyond a typical seasonal downtrend. All right, we don't want to just look at a minor spike in inventory and think, oh, the market's shifting, because we really probably should look for something else. There's got to be something more significant. And then I think the word on the street also is very important, because I think what real estate agents and appraisers and the real estate community is saying about the market is very important data. And if people are saying, wow, something has changed very significantly here, then that's something that we ought to pay attention to also. So, unfortunately, in trend graphics, they didn't start calculating days on market, cumulative days on market. But what you would have been seeing in this time is that it would begin as inventory increased, sales volume declined. You would begin to see the average cumulative days on market definitely increasing. And when a market softens, you see the sales price to list price ratio decline. Right? When a market's heating up, you see this ratio increase. And so let's look for all those little metrics, but let's also, I think, as we talk about the current market, let's keep things in perspective, because I think in many cases we're not in tune with the seasonal market. Okay, and when we are, I think something we can really communicate powerfully to our clients and talk to them about what the market normally does. Okay, so anyway, I hope that was helpful. I know I talked for, gosh, about 12 minutes here. And so if this was helpful, you can like the video, comment below. Definitely reach out if you have questions. I would love to hear your take. Hey, thanks a lot. Take care.